just like that, we are up to 70 something miles per hour. Look at the stability of this. Excellent work from the suspension. Three, two, one, let's go. Hello there everyone, welcome back to DM Car Reviews. Today we are driving a 2024 Audi A6 45 TFSI Quattro on our channel. I want to say a huge thank you to Brian over at Audi of Bethesda in Bethesda, Maryland for providing me this car today, and you will see a short little introduction about their dealership in the upcoming clip. Welcome to Audi of Bethesda. It is located in Bethesda, Maryland, and it is one of the best facilities that you will find along the East Coast and especially the DMV area to get your Audi, new or pre-owned. So if you're interested in purchasing an Audi, reach out to Audi Bethesda and make sure to mention DM Car Reviews. But now, let's get started. This specific body style of the Audi A6 came out in 2019, and back in the day, it was really a breakthrough sedan. When I say breakthrough, I mean it was like very, very top-notch and ahead of the competition, most of the competition. With the Audi virtual cockpit and the interior and the power, one of the best cars that was released back in that day. And the question is it still that good today? And are the other offerings more luxurious or not? So we will find that out today, but let's take a look inside first. We have soft touch materials everywhere, beautiful wood. It's perfectly incorporated with this interior color. We have perforated heated rear seats. And let's sit in the back. I'm 6'2", and it is ultra comfortable in the back seats. The rear has a perfect incline. We have vents all around us for good air recirculation. Also, this car has 4-zone climate. So some offerings in this class, like the 5 Series, do not have that option. We have 2 micro USBs. And this car, when it first came out, it really made a big impact on this class. So a lot of these other cars started trying to compete with Audi to make their screens nice and fancy, and this car really impressed me when it first came out. Just the design, the sleek marriage of the lines, everything was just so simple yet elegant. But let's go take a look at the trunk. We have a decently sized trunk. We can fit a lot of suitcases in there. So our objective today will be to compare this car to the 530i, which is its direct competitor. And power-wise, they are about equal, so they're around 250 horsepower, both. But the real question is which car is more luxurious and which car drives better. So right here you will find the famous VW Audi 2.0T liter 4-cylinder engine, and it's mated to the 7-speed DCT, or as Audi calls it, the S-tronic. But the thing that I really like about Audis in general is just how simple yet elegant they look. So especially with window tint, it's a magnificent, appealing design. But since this car has been on the market since 2019, obviously some of its technology has, I guess, become not outdated, but people have gotten used to it. So it's not anything new anymore. Like that virtual cockpit over there, it's not new. So back when this car came out in 2019, BMW didn't have the virtual cockpit. They were just using the actual electronic dials. So sitting here in the front seat, I got to say the seats are comfortable, wide, and reasonably supportive. They're not anything close to the S5 seats. They're much less sporty, which is actually a good thing for those who like to drive longer distances. We have a large high-definition screen with good feedback, so it's very instant. And the nice thing about Audi is whenever you press any button, it just has that pleasant haptic feedback. We have ventilated heated front seats, dual zone climate, our drive select where we can go auto, comfort, but we will start with comfort, and dynamic. We can also customize individual and do that, for example. Audi has also changed up their infotainment a little bit here. They added this screen. So here with Audi's virtual cockpit, it is one of the best in class. It looks gorgeous. You can zoom in and out. Seriously, one of the best cockpits that was ever made, in my opinion. We can go here, but let's go to vehicle. And let's see where we can adjust the cockpit. Navigation. Actually, this very well may be the only view in this car. So for all of you tech-savvy Audi folks, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is the only view in this car. Because usually it has like the virtual cockpit settings. Yeah, I don't see it. We have a 360 degree camera. This is a far better camera than the one in the S5 or the S4. You can do a proper 3D view. And you can also see all the other views. So in my opinion, BMW's camera system is more advanced since it actually draws a full picture of the car and you can see it on the side versus just cameras. So BMW's camera is a little more tech savvy in that sense. But this is a very high quality resolution camera. It works great. And let's take a look at this window sticker. So this Audi was assembled in Germany. We got Hungarian and German parts. And we've got the executive package here, which features dual pane acoustic glass. And we also have the black optic sport package and the sport suspension. So usually all season tires means that the car is limited to 130 miles per hour. And one more thing here that I was going to mention, this one does not have the heads-up display or I think the ambient lighting. I don't see that option here. So we don't have the heads-up display like most 530i's do. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Or you got to go Prestige. Now the other question will be is, do you really need to go for the 6-cylinder engine, and how does this again stack up to the competition? Well, that is what we will find out shortly. We also have an electronic shade. And these seats are very familiar in their design. You will find very similar seats in the top of the line VW Arteon, the Premium Plus trim. Literally the same pattern, same design, very similar. So you can see that VW did put some of their touches into the Audi. Well, they're the same parent company, so obviously they incorporated some parts. All right, well, let's head off. Let's check the U-turn radius. It's not bad. It's a pretty decent radius. It's definitely to the larger side. And let's see how she crawls off this bump. Okay. We can also manually activate the camera to see where we are going, which is super helpful. Again, good quality. Very good quality of the camera. I feel like this camera is much more advanced, like I said, than in the S4, S5. The pedal is numbed down a little bit in comfort, so when you're giving it more feedback, it kind of doesn't really want to go. It kind of holds the car back, and then when you dig it in more, it starts to accelerate at a peppier pace. But we will try that once we actually hit the roads. We don't want to go too fast in the neighborhood. So since this car barely has any miles, we will not do a launch control test. We will just do a one pedal test where we press the gas just to see how it goes. So the real power here comes on after 4,500, like 4,500. That's where the juice is. But right now I've been pressing the gas maybe 40–50%, and there's not any surge of power coming in. It's just good leisurely acceleration. Now, as far as the comfort, despite this being the sport suspension, this car rides like butter. It's smooth, and the steering feel is quite good for such a heavy car. So it's instant and it's direct. Now, is it sporty or athletic? I wouldn't say that, but it's very secure and refined. The engine is also well insulated from the cabin. Now, as far as the steering in the 5 Series does feel more sporty and playful, at least so far, in my opinion. Visibility is good. We have large mirrors, and I don't really see any blind zones, which is great. Well, let's check the passing power of this car. Good power. It definitely responds well to input. When you give it like quick input, it has good power. But you can tell that this is comfort mode. And I'm actually very glad that Audi has tweaked their comfort mode a bit in this car. It's not as aggressive as it used to be. Like, for example, in the older Q5s, like the comfort mode would feel pretty aggressive. So maybe sport changes that. Because, you know, if you're driving in comfort, you explicitly want to be as comfortable as possible. You don't want it to be like that. This is why we have sport. So yeah, sport definitely changes up things a bit. More instant boost. But to get the power, you still got to dig in the pedal deeper. So it's not like press and go. You gotta like actually work the pedal more in this car. Now, as far as the difference between this and the 3.0T, the 3.0T has significantly more power, and not even like full throttle acceleration, but just the low end torque, because it's just such a silky V6. Like, I love it. I've driven the A6 3.0T many times, and I definitely will say, in my opinion, it is worth getting over the 4-cylinder. Now, if you're just driving in the city and you're not trying to win any drag races, again, this is a perfectly adequate powertrain with plenty of torque and plenty of power. But between the 530i, I do think that the 530i is a sportier offering. And it feels, well, actually pretty similar on the power. Maybe the 530i is a little bit more aggressive, but not too different. But what I do love about this A6 a lot is how smooth and planted it is. Just the suspension is phenomenal. But you can hear that this is a 4-cylinder engine by just the sound of it and the pitch. It's more coarse, I would say. Good kick down. The DCT kind of thinks for a little bit, and then it boom, puts you in the right gear. And it holds the gear too, which is great. So we are going to do our first and probably the only 0 to 60 test, just because of traffic restrictions and space. But we will see how this car picks up off the line if you give it gas. It's thinking, and then we go. But it has that kick once you go, so that is really good. Good power, I would say. When you step on it, it's really good. But we will head down a little bit more, and then we will do our first 0 to 60 test. We will see how quick this A6 is, and you will see that in the next clip. All right, so let's do our first 0 to 60 test. 3, 2, 1, let's go. And we actually did 60 in 6.39 seconds. Which is very impressive actually for just an idle start. Very impressive. So this car actually hides the sense of speed quite well. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I do not remember exactly what I got in the 530i time-wise, but it was something similar to that, at least from what I remember. 6.4 seconds is very good. But now we're going to take the freeway and we will summarize this test drive. So just like that, we are up to 70 something miles per hour. So on the freeway, like I said, the A6 is very quiet and smooth. You can whisper. Quiet cabin. And let's go to auto. One thing that I also like about the 530i more is that Like if we were comparing these two cars, I like the fact that the 5 Series has a heads-up display in most of them, in the like the 530, and the blind spot system in the BMW, where you put on the blinker and you get some feedback in the steering wheel. Otherwise, I do think this car is a little bit more like comfort oriented versus sport, whereas the BMW is a little bit sportier, and this is more just for comfort. Look at the stability of this. Excellent work from the suspension. So power here is good, but nothing crazy. So especially after like 70, 75, you will see the power kind of start to taper down a bit. But it's still very good. And you do not feel any speed in this car whatsoever. So having driven this A6, what can I say about this car? The interior is gorgeous. So every piece that you touch is high quality. The only thing that I don't know why Audi did is why didn't they make like a leather airbag right here, like the leather airbag cover, because it is plastic. Everything else here stitched, magnificent. You can see there's no gaps anywhere. It's flawless. And again, the virtual cockpit is just amazing. There's also another thing about every new Audi, the air that comes to the cabin from the AC, it just I don't know, is it aromatized? Because it just has that distinct smell, and it smells so good. Like I can just sit here and just enjoy this scent. But if you're on the market for a mid-size luxury sedan, definitely look at the A6. I think it is much better than a G80 or a CT5. I'm sorry, yeah, CT5 3.0 or 2.0. This is a much better car. It's better built, it's more comfortable, it's more refined, and the suspension is just perfect here. You can't go wrong with this car. Now, if I were equipping it, I'd definitely go with a 3.0. It's just gonna be this magnificent car, but with a powerful engine. So you can't go wrong. S6, I've driven the S6 and can't say I felt any major difference between the 3.0. The 3.0 actually felt more responsive to me in many ways. So that is the golden middle for the A6. But if you're just trying to get from A to B in comfort and get good, good gas mileage and just enjoy the ride, this is perfect as well. You don't need the 3.0 then. I personally would be more than satisfied with this engine, like for myself. But if, of course, I have the choice, I would go with the 3.0. Now, as far as the 5 Series, I will say the 5 Series is a more sporty option. This is more comfort/luxury oriented. Whereas both cars are luxurious, this just has that kind of extra elegance, and it's a very soothing experience. But if you want more sport, more handling, and just a bigger screen, a heads-up display, a more advanced blind spot system, and something different, like just something very different, the 5 Series is the better buy in that case. Either way, any car you get in this class, whether it's an E-Class, a 5 Series, or A6, you're not going to go wrong, and you're going to love each one of them. Well, this wraps up today's test drive. Don't really have anything else to add as far as the negatives. Very good car and solid choice. Till next time.